Hello, hello, everyone. We are live for another positive talk. It is episode 170. That's freaking crazy, but I'm so glad that I've been able to keep doing these for so long, and I'm glad that all of you enjoy them because they are honestly one of the best parts of my day. I enjoy every single one. There hasn't been one positive talk to this day that I have not enjoyed thoroughly. So I'm excited to be doing this one because we tried to do one a while back and love us. At first I thought it was because we were from different parts of the world, but I think Instagram crashed that day. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Are you?
I'm doing well. I was just losing my voice, so I was like, oh no.
Oh no. Oh god.
So
I was.
I know that we were planning on doing this a while back. I think last time we tried this, you actually lived somewhere different. You'd
I
moved.
did, yeah, I've moved.
So,
I used to live up north in like north of the UK, and now I live down in London. So I'm in a different place.
so like London would probably be like us moving to New York City here in the United States. I feel like that's like the New York City of the UK.
Yeah. That's a good way of thinking.
So did you move there for like school, career, both?
Yeah. So I started in September. I started studying musical theatre at a place called Mountview Academy of Theatre Arts. And I've been there for 3 months, and it's been the most intense 3 months of my life.
I
But
bet.
it's really really good. I really love it. It's great.
Awesome. Well, I will let you introduce yourself so people who don't know who you are can know who you are, and then we will jump into a conversation.
Yeah, I'm Aiden Carson. Aiden Carson Music is my Instagram and my TikTok. I am a singer. I do theatre and I act as well. What I do on here mostly is just singing videos, duet videos, and yeah, I've had quite a lot of people that I knew before that I would never have thought that they would duet my videos, but I started doing them, and I started doing it after lockdown actually. In the UK, obviously we had a lockdown last April, and it was after that in about August, September time, so only just over a year ago, that I decided to do some singing videos, and now it's taken
Off.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, about a year ago is when I started these positive talks, and it was during like the lockdown here in the United States. So I think that the lockdown, although there's a lot of negative that came with it, I think that a lot of people made a lot of interesting changes that have kind of changed their trajectory like in life when it comes to what they're doing.
Yeah, completely. Because at the time I was auditioning for all of these schools that I wanted to go to, and I knew that that was what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to do that, but then there was just something about not doing anything for so long that it's quite ironic, because I didn't start TikTok until after lockdown. So even like during the time that I had nothing to do, that's not when I was doing it. It was when I was having things to do again that I thought, actually, no, I'm going to start doing that. And yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I just saw a TikTok not too long ago where it was like, at the beginning of lockdown in my 30s, I'm too old for TikTok. And then it was like now, and they're like holding all these different things, doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
I was the same. I kind of chose not to do anything with TikTok for ages, and then I kind of got to the end of lockdown and was like, no, actually, I've depended on it this whole time, so I might as well try it out.
So I know that with TikTok, a lot of like the things that kind of boost people into viral fame on that platform is like doing the type of content where it's just like mimicking and copying everyone else's content, but like with yours, I feel like you do more of like original stuff where it's your own audio, it's your own voice. How has that journey kind of gone for you?
Well, when I first started, it was just kind of I kind of took the duet videos that people kind of started making before me, and I duetted with them. So it would be like people singing harmonies, people playing piano, things like that, and I would do what people do to my videos now. I would do that with them,
Yeah.
and it was just really nice because obviously, and a lot of people have messaged me as well saying that they really appreciate what I've done with my duet videos. in terms of like, I just appreciated after so long of not seeing many people, like to be able to sing with people online. It was really nice. So I started doing them first. And then there was one video that I did that I just decided that I was going to do like I'll sing a harmony, you sing, because I knew that those videos, like people enjoyed them. I enjoyed them when I saw them. And, you know, I decided that I wanted to do one. And it was Set Fire to the Rain by Adele. And I just did that. And, yeah. And it got, like before that I'd only ever got like, you know, a few thousand views, and that got I think it was hundreds of thousands. I can't remember exactly how many it was, but I got hundreds of thousand views on it. And I had this actress that did TikToks. She just did TikToks. Like she wasn't a singer. She didn't post singing videos, but she just messaged me. She DM'd me and was like, "I love your voice. I've done a duet with that video." And I was like, "Wow." And she sent it to me, and it was really, really nice, and it was really good. But she didn't post it because she's not confident in singing. But it was just really nice to know that she had like millions of followers, and I literally just saw that and was like, "Wow, the TikTok is a powerful thing. It get your videos to a lot of people." And I ran away with that, and I loved the idea of making videos that everyone can see, like people from across the world. And yeah, I started doing my live streams as well, and I had people from, you know, every country in the world saying, you know, "I love your voice, I love your music, I love what you do with the duet videos." And it was just really nice. It was really, really nice, and it encourages me to keep going, and that's why I keep going to this day.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's definitely built the confidence level when it comes to your performance?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've never been too bothered. I mean, I obviously get stage fright when I have to perform in front of people. I get terrified, but I think it's just going into the whole idea of just knowing that everything that I do is just getting put out there. So like my singing videos, my life. Like I'm posting stuff about my life, my day-to-day life, and people want to see it. And it's just like it just, I can't explain the feeling of knowing that people enjoy knowing that you're having a good time with what you're doing, but also that I work hard, and I mean I work like it's intense, it's really hard, but it's just there's something comforting knowing that people take comfort in knowing that you are doing that stuff and that you are putting that stuff out there for people to watch. It's really nice.
Yeah, I think that that's something like anyone who doesn't really jump into it for the reason of wanting fame, like eventually has to wrap their head around that type of stuff. Because for me, like I posted something on Instagram asking people what they wanted to see more of, and they're like, "Your day-to-day life," and I'm like, "It's not that exciting though." Like, I promise you, there's not magic happening when this turns off. Like, you'll probably see me like being a bum sometimes and running errands and going crazy and pulling my hair out. But if you want to see it, let's go.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Like, I sometimes have times where I won't post on my story in weeks, and then I'll have times where I'll post constantly throughout a day because I'm just like, there's nothing to see for ages, and then I'll have a day where I'm like, actually, this might be interesting. But it's so weird because I just, yeah, like I say, I just can't get my head around the fact that people are actually interested in what I do day to day, other than just me singing.
Yeah, I mean, I have it to where whenever you go live on Instagram, it pops up on my phone. It's just like, "Hey, he's gone live." And I enjoy them just because like the way you interact with the people, like I think that that's really nice, as well as like you get to see like the unedited version of you just sitting there singing. And I think that that is great because a lot of us see musicians and other people on platforms where we have perfected ourselves for like putting ourselves out there for maybe auditions and stuff like that. But you're like, you know what? Here we go. And it's like, oh, forgot the word there. Oh, cracked there. And like, you just keep going. And it's like authentic and real, which I think the world needs more of. And it makes you more relatable for people. And I like that we're seeing the journey, because I think that that would have been a beautiful thing for us to see of people that we admire that kind of just went from we didn't know who they were to like, bam, they're huge superstars. And I think that that's like an amazing journey to watch.
Yeah, well, thanks. It's I mean, hearing that, like, I mean, it's just so nice because obviously people say that, they say it's really nice the way that because the point of my live streams is exactly like you say. It's just me sat in my room for 2 hours just singing. And I said, I mean, especially when I first started the live streams, I was like, well, I feel like I can't really do anything else, so I'm just going to sing for 2 hours. But like, it's like you say, like, it's really nice that people appreciate that it's just this like raw 2 hours of me not knowing what I'm doing. Obviously, and this is why I struggle, because I struggle with posting regularly, because in my head I'm like, I'm such a perfectionist that it's either got to be absolutely perfect, or I just have to throw myself out there and just do a 2 hour live when everyone is seeing every single thing that I do, and half of it is just me completely not knowing what I'm doing. You know, and it is nice, and people do say it's really nice that people like that. Because I get comments about how I try to be as natural as I can on the lives as well, because, you know, the big thing that I see is if I'm scrolling through TikTok or Instagram and I see people on lives, and I see it so often where they'll just be sat there like on their phone or their laptop or something, and they'll have music in the background, but they won't really say anything to people. And there's like 10 different people in this live stream like commenting like, hey, I really like your videos, and they're just there like, oh, thanks. And I just, there's something about that so like now, like that's what people do now. But like also, I can't imagine going on a live stream and not having conversations with the people on it, because otherwise I wouldn't be doing my live streams if there weren't people on it. So
yeah,
to me, the biggest thing.
Yeah, I feel like my favorite that I've watched of you so far, or favorite two, was probably when you had people with you, like sitting in your room with you. Mainly because, like, I think that we all, like, when we're on a live and talking to words on a screen instead of people, we do kind of, like, we try to put our most authentic self forward. But, like, when you've got people who, like, know you when the camera's not on, like, an authentic side of yourself just comes out naturally, that it's just like fun to watch. And like just seeing them kind of like pick on you, I think that that's like
Yeah.
My friends are definitely my grounding, like when it comes to reminding me that I'm just me here. Like I'm not whoever's got the numbers on the different social media platforms. And like I love watching people just kind of ground content creators to the like real world instead of the social media world.
Yeah, exactly. And they're the ones that I have the most fun with as well, because obviously I have people in here, and I'm literally like, "Should we sing a song? Should we sing a song?" And like no, and then we'll just do it, and it will be a song that we haven't practiced, we haven't rehearsed. Both of us probably don't even know the words to. But we'll just do it, and we have fun. And for that 3 minutes when we're singing the song, I actually, and there's a part of me that doesn't like when that happens, because I feel like I am kind of ignoring the people that are watching, like in a sense. But also there is that part that is, you know, when they're here, like we are just being stupid and having fun and just doing whatever. So yeah, I mean, there is a part of me that when there are people in the room, I do feel a bit guilty, because I'm like, well, that's 15 minutes that I haven't actually looked and I haven't spoken to the people that watch. But also, you know, it's like you say, like it is fun to watch people just being themselves. And I feel like there is definitely going to be a shift when there's people in the room with me, than as opposed to when I'm just speaking to the words on the screen, like you say. Like it definitely does make a difference.
Yeah, it's about balance. You can balance it. Like the people online are important. They know that you really enjoy and love all the support they give, and I think that that's important for people to see as well. Because, I mean, I always tell people what they see on social media is such a small percentage of me. Like, you can't see what's happening from here down. Like, and I think that reads a person, like what they're doing with their body tells you a story. And sometimes we can be like, okay, the story is here. Don't look down here.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like I've had messages of people literally just asking me what my height is, and I'm like, and as confused as I am when people ask me that, I'm like, it just really shows you how little people can see from what you
Yeah.
hear. Like I can post a full body picture with like 5 other people, but people still ask me things like that, and I'm like, oh, okay, like yeah, it's people just don't see a lot of stuff, and it's
Yeah.
and
I
obviously
mean, I've had people meet me in real life and they're like, "Oh my God, you're really tall." And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "I thought you were short." And I think it's because like I lean in my pictures to get my friends in group shots. So I always look like I'm shorter than everyone, but I'm
yeah.
pretty much the tallest one in my friend group. I think I've got one friend who's taller than me, but everyone's just like, "Wow, you're really tall."
No, I'm like pretty much average. I get people that are like, oh no, you give off like tall energy, and I'm like, do I? Or like you give, and I'm just like, oh okay, that's interesting. It's interesting hearing what other people, the impression that other people get of me, of what they see as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked that question once and maybe I regretted it after I asked it, but I posted on Facebook just asking people, I was like, hey, like, for those of you that have like known me from online first and then got to know me in real life, like, what was the shift that you thought? And I didn't realize how like pretentious I came off online versus who I am in person. So like that helped me. I definitely learned that maybe I need to show my goofy side online a little bit better than what I was doing. So I was like, okay, we'll do this.
Yeah, I think for me as well, because I started singing when I was about 9 years old, I think. Um, it's actually a funny story. I'll have to tell you at some point. But I, for so long, because of the school culture and how it is when you're at school with other people who sing. I mean, now I'm with everyone who all sing. They all sing. They all want to do this as a career. But when you're in school, it's one of those things that like if you sing, people automatically think that you're big-headed or you're too confident. And like I had a big problem growing up through school in terms of I felt like I constantly had to show that I wasn't big-headed
Yeah.
just I sing because singing is a very someone said this to me the other day and it really like brought it into perspective. Like singing is a very vulnerable thing to do because I mean it's hard. Singing is hard, but also it's quite emotional. It's an emotional thing. So to do it in front of people is really, really difficult. But when you do it and you don't look like you're not confident with it, people assume that you are big headed and that you have this ego because you want to perform in front of people. But it's not. It's just because I really enjoy it and I love it. And obviously people will have seen that like I genuinely get so much joy from like singing for people and doing it and stuff. And obviously, yes, I want to do it as a career. And with that comes the side of you have to make a living out of it. But as much as that is true, I always enjoy it. I will never stop loving and like writing my music because I'm hopefully getting music out in the start of the new year.
That's
That
exciting.
yeah, I'm so excited. Like just stuff like that. I mean, it's the biggest build up ever because it's kept getting pushed back and pushed back because of me starting at uni and things like that. But it's just so like exciting and like stuff like that. Like even though that is what I want to do, like even this one song that I'm trying to release, it's so I'm literally here like, oh my god, I can't wait till the new year to get it out, and I'm just like I'm pumping it up, like sorting out the artwork for it, like sorting out all of it, the dates and all of this stuff, and I'm just trying to get so many things like under control for it that I'm like so excited for it, and it's so weird. I can't explain it. The feeling of that really.
Yeah. I feel like when it comes to like creatives, like musicians are creative people. Like we feel things a lot deeper, but like when you're sharing like that emotion through music or through whatever art creative form you find to express yourself in, like, and it becomes popular, like that, it does kind of get people in their headspace of, oh, this person thinks they're all that. And for a creative person, sometimes they're sharing like pain or they're sharing like their journey of like self-worth and all of these things where like, yeah, they're getting a lot of attention for their music, but it's like listen to the lyrics, listen to the music. Like there's a lot of words describing how this person's feeling,
Mm.
and people do kind of put that like big-headed image on people in that situation, and then you don't feel like you can celebrate yourself. Like that's a journey in on, like, I had to overcome that as well. Like, I would be super excited that something was being shared by people that I admired, and then like I would share it with people in my life, and then I was accused of like bragging and thinking I was better than people. I was like, no, like the little kid in me is like fangirling right now. Like, I just can't believe this is happening to me. And I'm like, I'm just wanting people to like be excited with me. Like, I'm not sitting here like, ooh, I'm better than you. Look who just liked my stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out right now.
Exactly. And it's like, I mean, it's like I say, and I will always now, like, since that, I can't remember who it was exactly, but since I got told that singing is a vulnerable thing, I would never look at it the same, because it's so, like, it's like what you say, like the lyrics, and when you listen to the lyrics and like, of some of the things that you're singing, I mean, especially this song that I'm releasing in the new year, it's very, very personal. It's very like vulnerable completely. And, but yeah, I think people just, they get this idea of like, you know, because you're a singer, you want to be right at the front and you want to sing for everyone in front of like all of the instrumentalists, and like people do have this impression of singers that if you do these big notes or if you do these riffs, like it's not because you're confident in what you're doing, it's because you're overconfident and that you just want to show off. And yes, applause and like that appreciation is obviously nice, but like that's not I don't just do it because I want people to clap for me. Like that's not, you know, that's not the only thing. Like it's the process of learning a song, singing it, writing a song, like all of that, like, and just music itself. Like I will sit here for hours with my keyboards, because I have a MIDI keyboard because I don't have enough room for a piano in my room. And I would just sit for hours, like literally hours, just playing different notes on the piano, because I'll like listen to something and I'll play 3 different notes and go, oh, whoa, that could be a song. And then like I'll play 3 different notes to the 3 before and be like, oh, okay. And I will spend 2 hours just workshopping loads of different things, and nothing will ever come of it. But I just find it so beautiful that I'm literally listening to these different things and going, what chord was that? Oh, what's that? How can that go? Like, how can I? And sometimes it does work its way into a song, which is when you then go, oh my God, that literally just happened. And that's what happened with the one that I'm releasing. I was having to isolate because I was a contact of COVID, and then I was in my room and I was just playing some stuff, and I got this really nice chord progression that I'd never heard before, and was like, I really like that. And then I wrote a song, and now I'm releasing it. And it's just really beautiful to be able to do that. Like, I think music is genuinely the best thing that I could use ever for anything like that. That's all yeah.
See, and like that right there, like that's what I think is amazing when you meet like creative people, is when they've tapped into their passion. Like I always tell people, like, I want to surround myself with people that are just passionate about what they do. It doesn't matter what it is, because when you surround yourself with people like that, like, you're not going to find judgment. You're not going to, like, if someone who's passionate about their own life sees another person, like, all you do is want to cheer them on, because you know how great that feels. And like you said, it doesn't ever have to become anything like that. All the back end stuff, like if you can find passion there, like, yeah, like I will sit by myself and do stuff and sit there with the biggest smile on my face, and the world will never see that. But like, I'm doing something that I love. And I think that that's what everyone needs to find. Like, it's not about show. Like, you don't have to show it to people. Like, put a smile on your face by doing what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And like, obviously now I live with 2 other people that are on the same course as me, and I'm so used to, if I'm not with my family, that if I'm somewhere else, I have this thing where if I'm singing along to a song, I will purposely sing it bad and sing it wrong. In the notes that aren't being sang, just purely because again, going back to the overconfidence thing, because I've sang for so long now that I am confident in what I do, if I sing along to a song, people think that because I'm singing the same notes as the song, and because I'm confident in what I'm doing, people think that I'm trying to show off, and I'm like, no, I'm just singing what they're saying. So now I have like a defense mechanism almost to make people not think that I will sing purposely the wrong notes. So now I do it now, and because I'm with two other people who are also singers and I live with them every day, if I ever do that, they're like, Aiden, shut up. You know, like we know. Like, no, I know, but it's just become a habit now that I do that, and it's really bad. But yeah, I still do.
I mean, you can turn that into like a joke type thing where it's just like, because I've seen like the TikToks where they're like singing in the shower and they're like, how I think I sound,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how I really sound. You can be like the complete opposite of it, like how I want people to think I sound,
Yeah.
how I really sound.
Exactly. But I walk around singing along to songs on the how people actually hear me like thing, that setting. I walk around doing that because as a defense mechanism, I don't want people to think I'm showing off because of what because of what like that experience of school and stuff. Like that's what I do now. But it's like you say, like when you surround yourself with people who also have that same passion. And like, I mean, we have like an open mic night every week at our school in the bar on the top floor where we all go and we all sing musical theatre songs. And every single one of them, I mean, they're all people on this course in, one of the best drama schools in the country that like, they all walk up and they absolutely own it. But like, you also will go up and then feel confident in what you're doing because everyone, like every single other person in that room is confident in their own ability. So you then don't feel like you're going up and trying to show off because everyone else has that same passion as you. And it's like you say, when you surround yourself with people like that, it's really nice. Really, really nice.
I think that the nice thing about music too is like we were talking about emotions earlier, like people have, because my show is called Positive Talks, I've had people bring up the like topic of toxic positive, like they're like, you know what, it can be very toxic. And I was like, well, like I think that what I talk about is very real, and I think that it's important to feel everything, and within that, like you can find positive moments, but like musicians can use every type of moment to kind of write music. So like a sad song can be written when you're down, upbeat, happier song. Like I know that for me, when it comes to getting ready for a positive talk, I have to mentally prepare myself sometimes to kind of lay what's going on in life over here for a second and then just do what I need to do. I don't hide that. Like I'll be like, yeah, today's been rough, but you know what? It's time for a positive talk, guys. Let's go.
Exactly. And I've done the same thing. Like sometimes I've gone on my lives and I've been like, hey guys, I am really tired today. It's been a long day. I only got back an hour ago. I've been rehearsing all day, but I'm here and I'm gonna sing for you. And like it's as soon as I do that and as soon as I get that out of the way, and then when I have the people like they come on and they're like, hey, like that's completely fine. Like we just want to hear you sing, and I'm like, and I mean that in itself just makes me forget about everything else because when I hear what people are saying and they're saying, like we want to hear it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I will do it for you because it's so nice, and like you say, like music is, and I saw one of someone who follows me, Janie, she just commented saying that music is so universal, and it's so true because music, like you say, it can be a happy song, it can be a sad song, it can be literally anything. Like there's music for everything out there, and it's just so nice to know that. Yeah, I just going back again that I just think music is so beautiful and you can do anything with it, and yeah.
I mean, there have been so many times where like I will hear a song when it gets put out and like it invokes like memories and thoughts and emotions in me, and then I see the music video and I'm like, that's not at all what I felt. That's not but I'm like, okay, that I see where they're going with that. But like I fell in love with like the Dear Evan Hansen music, and I hadn't seen the play, hadn't read the book, not the movie. My grandmother sent me the song, and then I was like, I'm just going to download the whole soundtrack. And I fell in love with all the songs.
Yeah.
Had no clue how they like were put into context of like the full story.
Yeah.
And when I watched the movie, like I cried because like that movie was intense. That was supposed to be the play I saw when Broadway shut down because of COVID. But like it's crazy to now listen to it, and now I've got like two meanings floating around, but I still lean closer to how I felt with like the Waving Through the Window song. Not at all. I like Evan and I are not the same in a lot of ways, but there were some things that I could feel with that song that were very accurate to my journey, and I still relate to that song in my way.
Yeah, and Pasek and Paul, the writers, are like geniuses. Like they've written the music for Dear Evan Hansen. They've done Dogfight. They did their first thing was Edges, which I have had the privilege of being able to perform. I did that back in February, and it was live streamed. So like the music, and I mean Evan Hansen is one of my dream roles, but like the I don't know. I just there's so many things to the point where me and a girl on my course, Hope, we did a Pasek and Paul inspired project piece that we did a couple of months ago, like about 3 or 4 weeks into the term, and we wrote our own song based off techniques that Pasek and Paul tend to use, because we genuinely were like we got told we can do a project on anything that we want, and we were like Pasek and Paul, absolutely, straight away. Because the things that they write and the music that they write, and again, just what they do and how they can do that in a story. And I mean, obviously Edges was a song cycle, so it's just like individual songs put one after the like each other, but it was, yeah, I just Pasek and Paul, again, incredible. And there are so many musical theatre writers out there that, I mean, pop like the song that I've written is more of a pop kind of song, as in it's sort of a standalone thing. It's not really musical in sense of like musical theatre, but I think musical theatre is beautiful because telling a story through a song in a story, because I mean every song is a story in itself, but to have to make a song that tells part of a whole story is like insane. Like I think the fact that people can do that, and the fact that now I am studying that, it's, yeah, I love it. It's great.
So I know that when it comes to like writing music, like there are lots of different things that can inspire music. And I know that when it comes to presenting ourselves with the world, like we get to pick and choose what the world gets to see of us. And sometimes people will fill in the blanks with whatever they feel fits into the story they believe exists for us. Like,
Yeah.
how have you kind of navigated through like telling your story through your work, and then kind of still sharing, but not oversharing with people across platforms?
I think when it comes to like my work, in the sense of like the songs that I write, the songs that I sing, if I choose to sing specific songs, I think you just have to. I kind of just trust that what I write and what I sing will, if I sing it how I'm supposed to sing it, how I was made to sing it when I either wrote that song or decided to sing that song, I just trust that the meaning of why I'm singing that song will come through. And I think, obviously, like we said before, like you can write a song on absolutely anything. So the songs that I do write, I mean, obviously this will be the first song that I put out there, but I'm hoping to do as many as as many as I feel like I don't want to say as many as I can, because I don't want to write songs for the sake of writing songs, because like I say, it just kind of comes when I kind of feel the music and kind of go, that would be a good song for this kind of emotion. And yeah, I kind of trust that like the words that I write, the feeling of the song, and anything that comes after that. So like any songs that I may or may not be writing now or may write in the future, like they come from an emotion that I'm feeling at the time when I write it. So I have to kind of trust that like when I put them songs out, that same emotion will then go forward into anyone that listens to it. I guess
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I've had where people, because with content on the internet, you never know which is going to be the first thing that someone sees of you as a content creator. So it's like, what story does someone, because like you get it all out of order. Even TikTok, like
Yeah,
I will see someone's video that was posted 3 months ago and go to their page and realize they've posted hundreds since then.
yeah,
And it's like, how do you kind of navigate with like, oh, I'm not feeling sad today. Like I'm glad you connected to that sad song or sad story or sad video. But it's very interesting to kind of because for me, every single time I post a YouTube video, go online, I'm like, this could be someone's first impression of me. What am I presenting to the world today?
Yeah, and I think it's not that I necessarily think about how I am acting. It's just more of a like I just want to be genuine, and I want to be like, and I'm a pretty like positive person as anyway. So like when I'm on my live streams, like I'm pretty sure I smile like 95%, not because I'm singing a sad song. You know what I mean? So like I I'm quite a like smiley person anyway. Like I can't help it. Sometimes like I've said this before, sometimes I smile so much that like my cheeks hurt and I have to like force myself to not smile anymore. Uh, but like I yeah, I kind of just I've got to the point now where I know that there are so many videos of me out there and I know that there are so many different things of so many different times in my life that now I've kind of accepted the fact that like someone could stumble along a video that is me like singing a really really sad song one day, but I would trust that if they were interested enough that they cared about what I was doing, that they would look and they would see the other stuff because it's all there. And if someone was interested enough in what I do, they would find it. I guess that's what I kind of tell myself.
That's what we've got our fingers crossed for. So when it comes to like putting yourself out there, like we know that it's vulnerable to put like I think it's easiest to sing someone else's song and put it out there versus putting your own out there because if someone hates someone else's song, like we can throw it off on their lyrics or their work. But like when it comes to pushing through, like if you put something out there and you don't see it kind of take off or you get feedback that is very judgmental or critical of it, how do you like keep that mindset going to where you don't let it shatter your dreams and you're like, you know what, I'm out, I'm not a singer?
I think what it is it's a mix of a lot of things. I think in life um, I mean, as a normal person, we've all had failures, and that's part of life. And a massive, massive thing about me being at Mountain View is that they tell us every day, they're like, in this industry, that you're going to have setbacks. And we get told a lot. Like, I've been told this literally all my life, that in life, you're going to have setbacks and you're going to have knockdowns. And it's about how you get back up. And it's about, you know, perseverance and keeping going and stuff like that. But it's just about looking at the stuff that you've done that's turned out success and the stuff that you've done that may be more different things that have turned out not so much of a success. And it might have been a lot more things. You might have 5 things that aren't successes for every one thing that is a success. But that one thing that is a success, you look at and you go, I'm doing the right thing. Like, I'm doing the right thing. For every comment that I get, if I ever get like comments on TikTok or Instagram where people are saying, and especially because I do harmony videos, because I do duet videos, people hear the harmony and naturally a lot of them think I'm singing it wrong, which is understandable because I'm not singing the notes that are on the song. I've had a lot of times where people will comment on a video and they'll go, "You're singing it wrong," and I'm like, I know, like so now I just trust and the fact that like so many people are willing to duet my videos and I hear them and I hear people sing with me and I hear the blend of the 2 voices and I'm like, wow, like that's because when I do my duet videos, like I'll listen to it and I'll work out the harmonies and then I'll sing it myself with myself singing the melody over it and I'll hear the blend and that like that's fine, but obviously that's my own voice with my own voice. But when I hear other people do it and it sounds great, like when I hear people with over 1 million followers duetting my videos and it sounds like it sounds, I'm literally like, well, this is why I do it, because no matter how many people tell me that like I'm singing the wrong notes, I know that that one person that understands what I'm doing and they know that I'm doing a harmony for it and they sing the melody for it and it sounds like that, I'm literally like, that is why I do it. That is why I keep going with it.
Yeah. And I think that that's advice that anyone can take with any work or anything that they're doing in life, because like it's easy to find the hate comments. It's easy to find the people screaming really loud that you suck. at whatever you're doing. But like, if you focus on the people who understand what you're doing, those are the people that matter. And it's the people who, like, it's so easy for us to forget that we have beautiful people that love us when we see a hateful comment that kind of hits a chord of like something that maybe we're still insecure about. Because there are times where, like, if you do something and you know that there's a mess up, but all your fans are like, you're so beautiful, this is great. But then that one person points out that one thing that you already felt bad about, like,
Yeah,
it hurts a little bit more. But it's so important to make that shift and just be like, no one's perfect. Like, I'll
exactly.
do it better next time.
And also, it's about finding the balance of knowing that all of, like, you just have to look at the negative comments and the positive comments, and just look at and think, like, anyone who posts the negative comments, like, are they, like, they probably do that for everyone. Like, if you're posting negative comments, you're probably doing it for a lot of people, because some people don't have anything better to do other than try and put people down. Because that, unfortunately, there are people who feel like that's the only way to get attention, because some people do that so that they can get attention online, and they like getting into arguments with people who will then turn around and go, no, they sound really good, and then they'll be like, really? And then they get reactions of people, and it's never me, because I read the comments and I'm like, funny, like, good. But then it's funny when I see people who follow me, who then snap back at them, and they're the ones replying saying, no, he's great. And I'm like, I really appreciate that, but you don't need to give them the time of day. Like, it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
With my platform, I chose to, when comments like that pop up, I delete them because, one, I'm not wasting my energy on it. Two, it hurts me more to see people I love and care about and people who love and care about me going down that route, because it's only like, yeah, I'm sure all those comments, having 25 comments of arguing, like, somehow boosts the algorithm. But you know what? That's an algorithm I don't want to be a part of. I want positivity and encouraging words. Like, if you want to critique me and tell me how I can be better, go for it. But if you just want to comment and say that I'm ugly, thank you for your opinion. Take it elsewhere.
Exactly. And I've had comments where people go, oh, hey, like, I like what you're doing, but I'm just not really sure about this. And I will completely embrace that and say, okay, well, that's great, thank you. Like, I appreciate the, I will always take constructive criticism over sometimes even over positive. Like, it's great when people say love it, or it sounds great, and I love that. But when someone puts thought into a 5-line message saying, yeah, I like it, but I think you could try this, or I don't really like this bit, and like stuff like that, I read and I look at it and I go, okay, good, great, thank you. Because I mean, that is more valuable any day than obviously someone just being like, no, sounds bad, or no, don't like it, or when someone takes the time. Also, it's nice. It's actually kind of nice. I mean, you'd be surprised that I would say that, but it's nice to hear that people would take the time out of the day to give you constructive criticism. Always.
Yeah. And I think sometimes that when it comes to being a content creator, like, understanding, like, you have to take time to pull yourself back, to regroup, re-energize yourself. Like, our lives, we don't live perfect lives, and sometimes really rotten things happen in our lives that can just pull us down into a funk that is hard to get out of. And I've always realized that when I go to read the comments, I need to show up with my best head on, so that when I hear a negative comment, it doesn't impact me into creating a negative response to put negativity out. Because I mean, I've gone through rotten times, and like, if you watch all my positive talks, there's some days where I had a positive talk scheduled and something really rotten happened, and I'm like, something really rotten happened, but we're gonna push through this. I recollected myself, but I'm going to need some recharge after this, so I'll push some positive talks back, because as a content creator, I'm not required to show up every single day if I'm not in the right headspace, or if I need time to heal and recollect myself, because my content is like my baby. That's my project. That's my work. Like, I don't want to wrap it with something that I don't think is its best wrapping to put out there for the world to see.
Yeah, and it's like you say, like, we all have things that happen. We have days where we're just like, no, I can't do this. But it's just nice. I mean, it's nice doing this and doing what I do because I'm training. I'm training right now because I'm training to do, you know, musical theatre performance as a profession, and influencing is obviously a branch of that. I mean, getting myself out there and singing and doing all of that stuff on here, but it is a completely different world. It's completely different. And yes, they can work hand in hand, but it's just a completely different side of me to what I do day to day. And I mean, I've had times where I haven't posted in weeks and weeks, sometimes even months. In that what, 14 months that I've been doing TikTok. I mean, now probably about 10 since I've been doing Instagram as well. But like, there have been 2 or 3 months in that time, probably maybe once or twice even, that I haven't posted just because I'm not in a position right now where I can make it necessarily my day job. I can't do that because I'm training, but I will always put as much effort as I possibly can into it because even though it's not necessarily what I do full time, it will always be the next thing that I focus on. Because obviously I have all of my friends and my family, and that will always be part of my time. But like, if I ever have an hour where I think, okay, I'm not doing anything, what can I do? My mindset is generally I will try as much as I can not to, oh, I'll just go on my phone for an hour, or I'll watch Netflix for an hour. And I have to try to start watching a few things. I'm trying to get into like a few different series and stuff because when I do have time, I do want to do that as well. But like, if I'm ever, I'm a bit of a workaholic in the sense of if I have a spare hour, I'm like, right, okay, what video can I plan? Like what?
Yep.
Yeah. And like, if I'm ever not doing anything, I will always resort to, okay, what work can I do? And it is bad because sometimes there's always the potential for overworking myself, but I will never sort of have an hour where I'll be like, right, I'm not going to do anything now. I am quite a workaholic in the sense of like, I have to keep going.
Yeah. I bought a Nintendo Switch because I needed something that turned my workaholic brain off, because even within like the end of the day when I'm exhausted, like my brain goes, but there's probably things that you can do while you're sleepy that doesn't require just as much energy as it would be to put yourself in front of a camera. And I'd start like reading a book and researching and writing stuff down, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, sometimes you have to breathe, and sometimes you have to like just be more of a, like, your brain shut off from work.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into the Pokemon stuff when I was really young.
Yeah.
And so I bought some of the newer games, and I found some friends that are still passionate about it. And it was such a fun, like, turn off and just relive like a childhood, like, fun moment, that I was just like, wow, like, I'm having fun. And I found that jumping back to projects, I was even more fuel to turn on my brain because I wasn't exhausting that part of it every single second of my day.
Yeah, and that's why, like, when I've had spare time a lot more recently, I've got into that habit of, okay, I need to sit down and just watch a film, watch a series, or anything like that. Because, I mean, I have an Xbox, and I left it at my house up north on purpose because when I moved down, I was like, I don't want anything distracting me. I don't want anything in my way. I want to really take my studying seriously. And then when I'm not studying, I want to be doing this. And then I went back up because we had a week off to split up between when we were doing our skills and when we're doing what we're doing now, which is our project. And I went back up north, and my mum was like, right, okay, do you want to like, when we go back down, do you want to take your Xbox, because like it's still here, it's sat there in your room doing nothing? And I was like, yeah, okay. And I said yes. And then the day that I left, I was like, no, leave it here. And yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm quite good in terms of like discipline, like self-discipline, in terms of I can tell myself, no, if I bring that Xbox, I'm going to go on it. And if I go on it, I will not have time to do the stuff that I need to be doing. So I'm quite with the kind of, you know, stop it before it becomes a problem kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, for any creative, I think that another really important part of life is going out and living life. Like, because your music comes from your experiences in life. And like, if you just sat at home and did nothing but like sit there and hit notes on the keyboard, like, they're not going to tell much of a story if you haven't gone out and lived your story. And trying to write a song based upon someone else's story isn't as easy as people may think it is. Like, real music flows out of you when it's coming from a true moment in your life. And
Yeah.
I think that sometimes when you get really wrapped up in things, like that fun moment or going out and living life, like that plays a big role in your creative journey as well.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, when I did use my Xbox, like I would get 3 or 4 hours into a day of playing like different things on it, and then I'd go, what am I doing? And I was such in the mindset of like, what am I doing? I've just spent 4 hours playing on this game, and yes, like I've got 1,000 coins in this that like I can use to buy this and this in this game that is not going to serve anything in my life. Like I'm not going to come in 30 years and be like, oh my god, yeah, when I was 17, like I got that game and did this, and like as fun as it is and it's great, but I just I couldn't help but sit there and go, what am I getting out of this? And yes, it's fun, but so is going to the park with my friends, or so is going and seeing a show in central London. So is like, so I left it there, and because now when I have an evening free, I would either do this or I would go out and I would meet people and I would get to know people and I would do stuff like that. And what you said about like going and doing that and living your life and having experiences is exactly the reason why I've now been able to write my music properly. Because growing up, like quite soon after I started singing, I started writing songs, but it was always like, oh yeah, this song's about this. Like I've never done this, but like it's imagine the first song that I'm actually releasing is from how I feel and what I've done and my actual experiences, and like it's yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, that's a telltale thing in itself that I've written dozens and dozens of songs that are based off experiences that I've completely like fabricated. And then the one is from me sitting down and saying, I'm going to write this about this thing that happened to me. And that's the one that I've gone, I really like that. I'm going to release that. It's quite obvious that that is just, it's staring me in the face that when you write about that have actually happened, it's so much more like from the heart.
It'll be very interesting, I think, for like you to reflect back on songs that you wrote that you kind of pulled out of thin air once like you go through life and experience more things and see if like you relate to those songs, if you're like, let's tweak that a little bit. Because for me personally, there were so many songs when I was a kid, I was sitting there singing and thinking that like I sang to it because the lyrics and stuff were like a fun little bop. But as an adult, I'm like, oh my god, like I feel this. Like singing a heartbreak song before you've had your heart broken is completely different.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and like when I was a kid and I'd sing like every single Adele song under the sun, and I'd be like, I'd literally be there like singing Someone Like You, and I'd be belting it out, blasting it like, yeah, I love this song. And then you listen to it and you're like, oh, okay, like that's really not the kind of thing that you want to be like, yeah. And it's, yeah, I mean, it just shows you that like, as much, I mean, I was told, especially in acting, it's a huge thing of like life experience is so important because you're having to act these different scenarios and these different situations, and to do that as a 16, like to be maybe a 16-year-old, to have to play like a big breakup of 10 years, like it's not going to be from a real place, because as you grow up you have these experiences and it means that everything that you do is a lot more realistic and a lot more real to you as a person.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about like high school plays versus like things that I've done now, like I'm like, wow, like I could really push a tear out doing this scene right here, because like I can relate so hard to that emotion that was being like portrayed in that scene. Whereas like as a kid, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm so sad. I'm like,
yeah,
teardrops.
Yeah, and I mean, I've had exactly that, like where I've done a show 3-4 years ago, and I've done a show a year and a half, 2 years ago, or I mean even 6 months ago when I did Edges, where when I did the song about like the song in Edges, and I was doing this song, and like the emotion was so much more raw because I had experienced a lot more things in my life that I could connect with the song. Whereas there was a show that I did a few years ago when I did Evita, and we were all, you know, like when we were all having to cry over this coffin, and like we would just go in a circle, and I'd just be there, and I just do what I thought, like, you know, this is how you act sad, and like it's just so different. And at that age, you think, no, this is exactly how it feels. This is what I want to look like. That you think you know it all when you're 15, 16, and you're just starting doing it properly, like with all of these adults who are there crying, and you're there like, yeah, I look exactly the same as you, but you don't. You look nothing like them. And then yeah, now like in more recent times when I've been able to do shows with that kind of same emotion, and it's just like it's so much more accessible. That's definitely what I would say. It's a lot more accessible. That kind of that feeling.
So I know that we're getting close to the end. So
Yeah.
something I want to ask you, because I feel like people will probably benefit from it, is when it comes to social media, like how do you avoid allowing that to take over your life in a negative way? Because I know social media can be a beautiful tool or a weapon of mass destruction to someone's like self-confidence, self-love. Like how would you recommend people to kind of use social media to enjoy life and not destroy their self-worth?
Well, I like I say before, I'm very much the kind of person who avoids distractions. So I try. And personally, it's quite ironic because people will ask me, you know, have you seen this TikTok trend? Have you seen this on TikTok, that on TikTok? And I'm like, I don't actually go on TikTok that much. I just post and I like scroll the odd time when I'm waiting for the post to go up. But I try to take myself out of social media and TikTok and Instagram especially as much as I can, because there's so much stuff on there that is like these idealistic things that is not true. And like you say, like it's so many things of like the idea of like you only see what people kind of maybe want you to see. And for me, I only use social media when I know that I'm in the right headspace. If I'm not, like I don't want to be crying over like this really sad thing that's happened and then scroll through Instagram, because all I'm going to do is roll myself up in it even more. And I think it's just about making the conscious decision. Like if you really, really wanted to go far enough with it, every single time you go on social media, you make the active decision of why you're going on that social media. And if it's just because you're bored, or if it's just because you need some kind of escape, like look at yourself and go, is that really helping me? Is it helping me? Am I going on that to watch a positive talk because I'm really feeling like I really want some uplifting today? Or am I going on it because I've had like a really sad day and I just want an escape? Like you have to sort of weigh that up. And if, like I say, if you are really, really going into this is a problem, it's becoming a problem, the way I would say to deal with that is look at every single time that you go on and form a habit of saying, why am I doing this? Is it because I want to, or is it because I feel like I have to, or am I bored? And yeah, I think just taking control over your actions and what you do and why you do things is so like taking control sounds really like that, but it's actually really liberating. Like when you know why you're doing everything that you're doing, it's like, wow, I'm doing it because I want to do it. And yeah, it's really nice to be able to do that, I would say.
I think that's phenomenal advice, because like there have definitely been times where like I find my hand doing its own thing, going onto Instagram just because it's so used to clicking right where it's at.
Yeah.
I've moved social media apps around to where I have to constantly like go, oh, I'm looking for it again. Whoops. Why am I doing that? Because I'll get on my phone to be like, what time is it? Oh, there's a notification. And then that's the end of it. Like you never know where black holes take you.
One thing that I have done is I've actually put a screen, like a limit on my phone. So like generally in the daytime, it's not even a time limit. It's just between the hours of 8 in the morning and 8 p.m. It blocks all of my apps. And for me to go on them, I physically have to press ignore time limit. So like it's so much easier to stuff like that. Like I am literally having to ignore a time limit to go onto an app. So I'm consciously thinking, I need to go on this app right now. And even though that it doesn't stop me from going on the apps, it makes me it's another step into getting into the app. So I have to physically go, no, yes, I do want to go on that app today. And that is really, really helpful. That to add on. what I said.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that we've gotten to the point where everything is so accessible and easy that, I mean, they do it on purpose. Like they want you to do that. Like they make everything addictive. They make it to where you feel like you're missing out if you're not on there. But like for me personally, like I think that it's something that because people ask me all the time as well, like, oh, do you spend all your time on social media? And I'm like, I really don't. I think that it's important for people to realize, like, yeah, I want you to like my stuff. I want you to enjoy what I create, but I want you to go out and live life first. And then when you've lived life and created a journey and something that makes you smile, come back and like celebrate my successes as well. And I'll celebrate yours. I think that too many people get on social media thinking that they're going to live through an experience that we live. But that is such a draining thing, because then when you start to do the comparison thing, you're like, I've sat on my bed all day scrolling 8 hours on TikTok.
Exactly.
You went out and recorded hundreds of videos, having a good time, laughing with your friends, creating TikTok. It's a different experience. And I think that when you start to intentionally make that choice of, I'm going to go out and live life versus sit in and watch other people's lives on a reel, it's a eye-opening experience for sure.
And the final thing that I would say for that is, and like, if anything of what has been said in this last hour, I want, like, for anyone who's actually interested in this, what we're talking about, this is the one thing that I want people to like take away, is just take control of your own life. Take control of your own life, to me, is like the definition of what you should be doing. Like, be that and be the main character in your own life. Be the main character in your own life and take control of what you do. Because when you do that, then everything just becomes so much better. It does.
It's liberating. Like, yeah. When you stop believing that the world is writing your story for you and you take that pen and you're like, I'm writing it today. Yeah. Like, it's something that you will start to do on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for doing this with me. Absolutely love everything that you're doing. I know that you've got a Patreon out there, and I'm super excited about the music that's going to be coming out next year for you. I look forward to it for sure. And is there anything else that people watching can like do to help support you and your journey towards whatever you want to do in the future?
I mean, I would just say, you know, both of my Instagram and TikTok are Aidan Carson Music. And obviously, like you say, I do have my Patreon. As you will know, Patreon is great. People can go on there and they get to see like loads of other content that people don't get to. And it's literally the price of maybe a cup of coffee or two a month. And it just, like, when it adds up, like, to one person, that's nothing. But when I've got different people on all supporting, doing like what they get the videos and the content out of it as well, so it supports me, obviously, like them supporting me in that way, but also it's not just them sending money, it's not them just paying for a cup of coffee, it's them getting, there's over 50 videos on there, and at this point in time there's all stuff coming up about my release. They get early access to that, they get early access to everything that I do. And yeah, I mean, just everything to do with that. The Patreon is a super, super big, important way that anyone can support me. So I would just say that. But if that's not a possibility, just following what I do is always a big thanks. And like, anyone who does is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, your Patreon's awesome. I followed because I've loved your content, as well as like I have my own Patreon, and I'm like, how is everyone else doing it? Because that, in that world, I feel so alone, because it's like I'm the only creator here. But like, I love what you're doing. The stuff that you've got on there, definitely worth like paying the monthly to see that. And I think that that's the best way to kind of show support for people. And like you said, if you can't like spend an extra couple dollars a month to support in that way, like sharing, liking, and commenting on everything that you're doing, like that does wonders for the algorithm. And like, I don't think people who aren't in this world understand how much that really does show us and help us get in front of the audiences that we really want to perform in front of, or who might need to hear a message, or maybe someone needs to see a positive talk instead of whatever negative stuff that they're
Yeah.
scrolling through currently. So
And
all of that helps. And
I think also people don't realize how nice it is just to see, like in my live streams when it says so and so shared your live, and I'm just like, wow, the fact that someone takes time out of the day to do that, it is really nice to see. And yeah, that's
well, I'm gonna let you go because I know it's a lot later there for you than it is here for me.
bad. It's not too bad.
But keep doing what you're doing. You're doing phenomenal. Absolutely love it every single time you go live and when you post. I'm definitely a fan, and I will continue to support for sure.
Well, thank you, and same goes to you. Keep doing what you're doing because it is amazing, and I really appreciate you getting me today.
Thank you so much. Well, I will talk to you soon. Have a good night.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.